So hey there, it's been about a year since the American Heart Association Presidential Advisory said that coconut oil is unhealthy and could lead to heart disease because of the dreaded saturated fat in it. And when that came out, the media had a heyday. And a whole lot of news broke out from that. And I'm going to try to sort all of that out today and get to the bottom of that, whether coconut oil is healthy or unhealthy. I know it's so confusing when you hear headlines like that. And listen, guys, you're not going to want to miss this one. It's coming up. So, hey there, beautiful people. This is Lindy. I am a registered dietitian, clinical licensed nutritionist, and a nutrition detective. And I call myself a nutrition detective because I really do try to get to the bottom of the truth about nutrition. I'm not always right, but I do try very hard to find out the root causes of things, as well as to get to what really is the truth. And I'm going to do that today. I really am. But I just want to ask you and invite you to subscribe today. We'd love to have you, and I'm just going to be posting lots of beneficial videos like this one in this year, and you're not going to want to miss any of them. So about a year or so ago, well, no, it was a little less than a year. It was June of 2017. The American Heart Association came out with a statement that coconut oil has never been healthy. In fact, the media just went crazy. I'll just give you a couple of the headlines. So the USA Today said that coconut oil isn't healthy. It's never been healthy. And then I believe it was the Chicago Tribune. Yes, the Chicago Tribune, who said that nutrition experts warn that coconut oil is on par with beef fat and butter. Okay. Not sure that's really a bad thing. But anyway, what I want to say, the very first piece of advice to everybody watching, including myself, is to be careful about the health headlines that you hear in the media. Really be careful about any headlines that you're in the media. Get to the bottom of it. And I know that's really tough to do sometimes, especially when you hear it coming from somebody like the American Heart Association. It sounds really official. But once you dig a little deeper into this, you're going to find out that there are some propaganda techniques going on here, and some things that might not be on the up and up. First of all, what you need to do is always check to see who funds a study. When I see that a significant amount of any kind of research study is funded by anyone other than a very unbiased institution, then I really take anything that they say with a grain of salt. Because this particular study, the number one funder, there were other companies involved, was the canola industry. So the canola industry is, of course, all about polyunsaturated fats, and a lot of these companies that have these polyunsaturated fats fund the American Heart Association in big ways. Also, another funding source for the American Heart Association is Big Pharma. So lots of pharmaceutical companies fund them. And one of them in particular gave them $3 million last year, and that is Pfizer, who also makes the drug Lipitor. So there's a little conflict of interest. So that kind of perks my ears up. But also know that the funding behind the American Heart Association also comes from companies like Nestle and Kraft and Kellogg's, PepsiCo, Mars, Domino's Pizza. None of those I really consider very health conscious companies. Other, like I said, other funders are pharmaceutical companies. So first of all, that really puts a pause in me, and I say, okay, if it's funded by the canola industry, they're not going to say a whole lot of good things about something that is not a polyunsaturated fat. So think about that. But really, it could be any study. If I see a supplement that's being touted by a supplement company that makes that particular supplement, I just take it with a grain of salt, guys. Even if some of their claims are true, I just don't really take much stock in it. Or one time I saw a study about organic foods and how much healthier they were, but then I looked into the funding source and it was the Organic Growers Association. So I kind of had to throw that one out as well. So it could be good foods and good supplements, but if they're funded by people who have a vested interest in the outcome of that study, they're never going to say that what they're producing is not good. So I would question the veracity of any study. And just to let you know that the American Heart Association for many, many years also told us that margarines and trans fats were to be used instead of butter. And so, they're actually being outlawed now. The FDA finally has said that they're taking them very slowly, unfortunately, out of the food supply. So all of these companies that are funding and giving all of this money to this organization uses polyunsaturated omega-6 fatty acids. And what do we know about them? I tell my patients, absolutely not. I take all of that out of their diets. And yes, I put in those terrible saturated fats like butter and coconut oil for many different reasons, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is when you see the American Heart Association seal on a product, it's not because a whole lot of research went into that product. It's because they were bought. Those seals are bought. There is an AHA seal on low-fat chocolate milk, Cocoa Puffs, and Lucky Charms. Okay, I'm ranting, I know. But Lucky Charms, come on, guys. That is candy. That is, just call it what it is, candy. Anybody has you can eat candy if you want. It's not illegal. But don't call it a heart-healthy substance when butter has been vilified. Okay, I'm trying not to get all riled up. I know I'm getting riled up. But anyway, yes, what about coconut oil? Is it a saturated fat? Absolutely. I'm not denying that it's a saturated fat. It has 90% saturated. It's a saturated fat. And guess what? I tell all my patients to eat coconut oil. And, maybe 1-2 tablespoons a day. I have it in my coffee every day. I don't actually cook with it. My husband doesn't like the taste of it. But does saturated fat, this is where they're coming from in this study, raise your LDL cholesterol? Yes, it raises LDL cholesterol, but I'm going to link something below about saturated fat. It's another video that I did, and you can look at that. What we now know is that heart disease is not directly related to that LDL number because not all LDL is bad. We all know that the HDL number is that good cholesterol, but not all LDL is bad. There's some good fluffy LDL particles that are actually good for us. It's those little tiny particles that are problematic. That's what I look at when I'm looking at lab reports. I'm looking at something called VLDL, and I'm looking at triglycerides. Those are two of the lipid numbers that you need to be aware of in your own lipid report, because those are the ones that are directly linked to heart disease, not that pure LDL number. So that's something to realize right there. I don't believe coconut oil has anything to do with raising anyone's risk of heart disease. There was a huge meta-analysis. I looked at 2 of them. One of them was done by the Mayo Clinic. And we're talking about lots of different research studies that were looked at. And every single one of the conclusions of the 2 meta-analyses that I looked at said that saturated fat doesn't lead to heart disease. Eating saturated fat doesn't lead to heart disease. Eating saturated fat doesn't lead to heart disease. How many times do I need to say that? It's just ridiculous, this fat phobia that we have. Let me ask you something. How has that worked for us? How's it worked for us so far? Lowering our saturated fat, increasing our polyunsaturated fats, like canola oil, like those inflammatory oils, like vegetable oil, soybean oil, all those, corn oil, all those good heart healthy oils that the American Heart Association keeps telling us to eat. combined with all of the grains, all of the carbohydrates in our diet, combining those two, I believe, and I'm ready to look at anything telling me that this is not true, but I think those two are contributing to heart disease more than anything else. You pair those up, it's like an evil marriage. And really, honestly, the offspring is disease, not just heart disease, but diabetes and cancer as well. So there are health benefits of coconut oil. I really believe that. First of all, it increases your metabolism. It's known to decrease body fat, decreases chronic inflammation. We know that chronic inflammation is really the heart of most diseases. Also, the big thing that I use it for in my practice is that it aids in GI health. It is a medium chain triglyceride, which is very easy on your GI. It doesn't take a whole lot of conversions for your body to be benefited by coconut oil. And it is antiviral, it's antibacterial. So it really is my GI patients that are most benefited by coconut oil. And there are a slew of other benefits that I won't even go into. There is a great statement by the Mayo Clinic restating a lot of this and how they refuted what the American Heart Association had come up with. I'm just gonna put that statement below and you can read it. I'm not gonna go into that right now, but I just want to leave you with the words of one of my favorite people, who is Mark Hyman. I just believe that he is just the voice of reason when it comes to this whole subject. And he talks about this whole thing in food. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you, I forgot to say, is that, you know, if we're gonna eliminate saturated fat, we need to eliminate breast milk. We just need to stop doing the whole breast milk thing, go back to formula, because guess what? Breast milk has about 25% of its calories come from saturated fat. So just stop breastfeeding, right? No, you know that's not true. But anyway, a great statement by Dr. Mark Hyman is, there is not a single study showing that coconut oil causes heart disease. That is just as plain and simple as it comes. We cannot find a study. There's no one that can give me a study. If you can, please link that below. But let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of coconut oil below. If you agree, you disagree. I'm always willing to look at new research. I'm always willing to learn. And I'm not dogmatic. I just haven't seen anything that links coconut oil with heart disease. That is the craziest statement I think I've ever heard. So that's my viewpoint, and thank you for watching today. Give this a thumbs up if you like this video. Also, please subscribe to this channel. We'd love to have you, as well as please like my Facebook page, Lindy Ford Nutrition and Wellness, as well as follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And remember, just remember this, that everybody deserves the freedom of optimal health. Thank you.